up and down celebrating, and then to watch those hockey players talk about their patriotism and their love for America after it was over, I think was inspiring to so many Americans who can easily get jaded when you think about how this town works, how some people just want to talk down America every single day and want to pit people against each other all the time. The Olympics was a great opportunity to remind us that we're all Americans, and when we come together, we can achieve great things. And that hockey team did achieve great things, and we're going to see them, and we're going to celebrate them tonight. We're going to be celebrating a lot of other great things tonight as President Trump talks about the 250th birthday of America, how we got here, what we've done so well, what we still need to do to keep making this a more perfect union. And look, the State of the Union is getting stronger, but make no mistake, when President Trump took office, this economy was on its knees after years of Democrat control, bringing record inflation, record interest rates. You saw energy prices through the roof, more than $5 a gallon in most places. Today, families are paying, in most states, about $2.50 a gallon. That's half of what they were paying. And for a working family, just lower gas prices alone from President Trump's policies means about $600 more in the pockets of hardworking families. Doesn't mean that we're finished. There's a lot more work to do. But I think what you're going to hear tonight from President Trump is a reminder of how great this country is, what that greatness has done to improve the lives of people, and what work we still have to do to continue getting this country back on track. We're not where we want it to be, but for anybody who wants to take us back to where we were just a year and a half ago to 3 years ago, let's remind them of where Democrats take us when they get full power. You don't have to go to California or New York to know how bad things can get, because they were that bad here in D.C. before Donald Trump became president. We had a wide open, porous border with millions of people coming across. Every single month, you would see record numbers coming in. And there were violent criminals coming into our country, drug cartels. The Mexican drug cartels had operational control of our southern border. And for people that don't remember how bad it was, just look at what's going on right now in Guadalajara. Just look at what's happening in that country as their leadership finally starts to confront the cartels. But they were running our southern border and bringing bad people and poisonous drugs into our country every single day. And Donald Trump ran for president saying, I'm going to do something about it. And he worked with this Republican Congress to fix that mess. And we started focusing on other problems too. We're starting to get this economy back on track. Wage growth is finally up. It's not where we need it to be. Families lost $3,000 of buying power during Biden's 4 years in office. $3,000. They've made up $1,200 of it so far. But that means there's more to go. And so we're going to be laying out an agenda. You're going to see us continuing to move more good bills like we've already been moving. And you're going to see the president laying out policy ideas tonight that this Congress will move. Sadly, Democrats have voted no on just about every major policy that have fixed the mess that they made. And that's okay, because we're going to do the job anyway. And some of those people that are benefiting from those policies are going to be in the balcony tonight. You're going to see some of those stories, and Chair McClain talked about some of them. You saw Whip Emmer talk about some of them. I'm going to highlight two of them right here. We're going to be two of my guests that I'm very proud of. We've got Heath Sykes, who's a server, one of the best restaurants in New Orleans. We're known for our food. We love our food. Drago's Restaurant is where they invented the charbroiled oysters. He gets to serve charbroiled oysters every day, and so many other great meals from a true American dream success story. The Satanovich family is a second-generation family that fled communism to come seek the American dream, and they now have it in the Drago's Restaurants. And he serves there and no longer has to pay tax on tips. And he gets to celebrate what that means for having more money in his pocket and being able to do more for his family. And then the other guest I have is Anthony Bettoni, who's a deputy sheriff in Jefferson Parish, where I live. And thank you for your service. We all celebrate our men and women in law enforcement, But so often our men and women in law enforcement are working extra hours to make ends meet, to provide for their family. And when they work overtime, a lot of times they were paying so much more in overtime, it didn't make it worthwhile. And we said, working with President Trump, why should people have to pay taxes on overtime? And now because of that, our Deputy Bertoni's going to be able to have more money in his pocket to provide for his family. And by the way, his family's growing. He is now a girl dad like me. He's got a 1-year-old daughter, and he's going to have more money in his pocket to provide for his daughter. And families all across the country are benefiting from what we did. Republicans are working with President Trump to make life more affordable for working families in America. And that's what we've been focused on since Donald Trump became president, and I think that's what you're going to hear the president talk about tonight, and leading the effort to get those bills signed into law to help bring that prosperity back and keep that work going as our Speaker, Mike Johnson.
Thank you, Mr. Leader. Welcome, everybody. When President Trump said we were going to usher in a new golden era for America, he meant it figuratively and literally. And we do want to thank all of our Olympic athletes who worked so hard and represented us so well in the Olympics. And the gold medal matches were really something to see. And you've heard a lot said about the hockey teams, the men's and women's. Gold, it was incredible. Both of them, you couldn't have scripted it better. Overtime games and the excitement and euphoria that happened afterwards. Millions of people watched those games across the world. And what a great moment it was for America. And it reminded us that we're all on the same team. And we hope that everyone will keep that in mind tonight, because we are. The president called me Sunday night, and he said, Mike, we got to make some changes. We need some more guests. Okay, well, you know, the State of the Union is a very well-attended event, and the gallery is already full, and we have waiting lists of people that want to be there. I said, Mr. President, how many people are you talking about? I think the whole team. Okay, well, so we're going to work out logistics, and somehow, some way, we'll squeeze in the hockey players tonight, and it'll be a great moment for America. And it really is a symbol to all of us that we all play for America's team. And I hope everybody will remember that tonight, even as we stand in the midst of yet another painful and unnecessary Democrat shutdown of the government. I mean, it's almost unbelievable to us. Not one, not two, but now 3 government shutdowns in just the last 100 days. What in the world are they thinking? This time they've taken hostage, as you know, the Department of Homeland Security. The department that is literally in its name, it's very indicative of its duties. It keeps Americans safe. And so funding for the agencies that protect our borders and mitigate disasters and help keep all of us able to walk down the streets without fear. That's the agency they've chosen to hold hostage. Well before the funding deadline, Republicans, as you know, worked in good faith to pass a year-long, full-year funding for DHS, and we did that through a bipartisan committee process. Democrats in both the House and the Senate negotiated on that, and now Democrats in both chambers have reneged on that bipartisan deal. Just 1 week into this, the consequences of Democrat shutdown are already painfully clear. Look at FEMA. Their operations are really important right now. If they haven't noticed, we have an historic season of winter storms slamming the East Coast, even as we speak, in the northern parts. TSA is having to make difficult resource decisions, as you've seen, and agents working another week without pay. Some of those are high-stress positions. It's not right. It's not fair. The Secret Service, as you know, is charged among its other duties of protecting the president. And yet another armed attempt was made on his life just this weekend. This is not a game. I don't need to remind anybody. 2026 is an historic year for our country, and it'll be a great year of celebration. It'll be part of the big golden era, the 250th celebration, our birthday. But you're going to have, during the year, tens of millions of guests. We're hosting the FIFA World Cup in 11 cities around America. We have festivals and tournaments and so many highly attended, high-profile events around the country. Obviously, we need the protection of a fully funded Department of Homeland Security. We shouldn't even have to say that. This gambit that Democrats are involved in is as foolish as it is dangerous. They cannot hold up that critical funding any longer. There is planning that's required for these events. There's all sorts of logistics involved and personnel as well. And it's time for Democrats to do their job before they risk the literal lives of the American people any further. Now, tonight, the president will deliver his State of the Union, and he said, as a preview, it may be a little long because there's a lot to talk about. There's a lot of wins to tout, and he's excited to do that. I'm honored to have with me one of my several guests, Trotter Hunt, who's standing here next to me. He's from Ruston, Louisiana, in my district. His business, like so many American businesses and some of the others represented here this morning, is already benefiting from our historic, big, beautiful working families tax cut. And certainty that he gets from this is what our pro-business tax cuts and incentives have delivered. And that's very helpful for everybody. We're grateful to Trotter for making the trip, and I'm honored to host him in the chamber tonight. So thank you for being here and bringing your beautiful wife and representing our district so well. This evening, the entire country will hear an update on the full scope of President Trump's transformational and historic first year back in office. The results speak for themselves. Why does he have so much to talk about? Because inflation's down, wages are up, investment is booming, the GDP is exceeding every expectation. Democrats, meanwhile, are going to host, count them, 5 separate counter events, rallies of some sort, they call them, in lieu of tonight's address. For all of these theatrics, it doesn't matter how many little gatherings they have or where they stand or how high the volume is on the microphones. They have nothing to offer, nothing but their TDS agenda, the Trump derangement syndrome, and it's on full display. All they can say, all they can tell you about is how they oppose President Trump and thwart his agenda and shut down the government and protest everything from the president's joint address to basic immigration enforcement. And they obstruct any meaningful progress for the sake of obstruction. It's the same tired playbook that they've run for a decade now. It's shameful that they would boycott an address. We don't do that. Republicans don't do that. It doesn't matter if there's a president from the opposing party. We don't skip out. Our constituents want and need us to be here. Every member of this House represents over 750,000 people. They're disenfranchised if you're not sitting in the seat to be a part of the role and the responsibility of Congress. I think it's shameful. Republicans have a far simpler and far superior message for Americans watching at home. We're putting more money back in your pockets. We're restoring peace through strength. We're defending our border and deporting criminal illegal aliens. We're standing up for American industry and manufacturing. And we're making American workers, not foreign countries, the clear winners in this American economy. Those are not talking points. That is what we have delivered. It's called Republican results, and we are proud to run on that message in this fateful midterm election year. So tonight, President Trump will demonstrate that Republicans are the only team working seriously to bring common sense back to our broken system. It's promises made, promises kept. And he's working, and we're all working together to make the country stronger, safer, and more affordable, and more prosperous for all Americans. And many of them will be represented in that big, beautiful gallery tonight. The American people will see that reflected this evening and in the months ahead as we press forward on all of those promises and so much more. We're excited. This is a great time for America. Take a few questions. Yes, sir.
Speaker.
Becker.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask you and Representative Chris Smith have invited Jimmy Lai's daughter,
Yes.
Claire. Jimmy, of course, is a Catholic who is being held in China for his religious and democracy views.
Yeah.
Why was it so important to invite her, and what do you hope she gets out of it?
Well, it's a very important symbol of America's principles and what we've been advocating for around the globe. When I gave my address to the British Parliament just several weeks ago, I mentioned Jimmy Lai in that address as well. He's a British citizen, actually, but he's been detained in China for just simply engaging in free speech. We need to send a message to the Chinese Communist Party, the Marxists, and all those who believe in this communist idea that you can shut down, censor, and silence opposing viewpoints. That's not consistent with basic human rights. And America has always been a bulwark to stand for those liberties, and I think having his daughter here tonight is I hope it'll be a poignant symbol to everybody around the world that America is the great superpower because we stand for basic human rights, our inalienable rights that we celebrate on the 250th anniversary of the greatest nation in the history of the world. Think of it, we're the only country, I sound like President Trump, think of it. We're the only country in the world that was founded upon the idea that our rights come from God, our Creator, and not from the government. And the profound impact of that, the implications of that truth, is what has led us down the path to be the most free, most successful, most powerful, most benevolent nation in the whole history of the world. The communists and the Marxists have a totally different view. Their worldview begins with the premise that there is no God. And so if there is no God and there is no Creator who gives you your inalienable rights, they are very much alienable and they can be taken away from you. If the government is powerful enough to give you all your rights, the government can take them away. We stand in direct opposition to that. And I'm excited the President and all of us will be standing tonight in the rostrum right above us with the national motto, "In God We Trust." That's America, man. It's as good as the gold that the hockey team won, and I hope we put that on display tonight with all of our guests as well. Yes, sir.
Last question.
Speaking of some of the guests that are going to be in attendance tonight, some of the justices on the Supreme Court are sitting in the front row. President Trump, following the tariff ruling, referred to some of the justices as a disgrace, said that they support one actors. Do you expect the president to address the justices directly tonight, and would you caution him against making sort of accusations he can make against this?
I'm not sure the content of the speech, but I expect it'll be a positive, affirming statement about all the things that we have accomplished together and all the plans we have going forward. The president, of course, was frustrated about the Supreme Court decision, but we're sorting out the fallout from that, what it means for us. But I think tonight's going to be a great celebration of America and all that we've achieved together, so we're looking forward to that. Thank you all so much.
Thank you.
No more complaints? Any more complaints?
No. I think they just did it. Just another network session.
I can take that up if you need more, because I can put it on my cart too.
Thanks, guys. Thank you.
It looks a little bit heavy, so I'm like, I can take it up. Do not fret. We survived.
1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2. 1, 2.